Hello everyone, we are back with One2N Bits. Today I have Kshitish. Kshitish, can you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yep, sure. Hi guys, my name is Kshitish. I have been working as a backend developer as far as my title goes for the last 4 years. But as you know how things go with startups, it's been more of a jack of all trades role where I've had to deal with data, deployments, DevOps, so on and so forth.
So you are a cracked engineer, huh? Yeah. We will be discussing about common pitfalls in analytics data management, right? And I think this is based on our experience that we had done a couple of discoveries for our customers. And we see that they have minuscule data to the tool that they're actually using or the database that they're using. And still, the preaching is more around the patterns, preaching is more around the practices, not saying that this database will solve your problem. Of course, it is some part to it, but we need to, I think this talk actually this talk actually stemmed out from this conversation while we were trying to do this discovery and said that we should talk more about what are the common pitfalls that we have.
Exactly.
Right. I think I can start. Usually when you start, you have a single database. For lack of a better word, we will choose Postgres because that's the second best database in the world. Again, this is a personal opinion, not my employer's. And you start with a single database, your data grows. Then what happens next? You say that, hey, the closest solution is we go on a master slave. So you say that, okay, I'm gonna have my product team or my business stakeholder gonna be doing from the read replica, and then you will, the transactional system is still served from the main database. But what are then the challenge and the twist starts happening?
So whenever you're working off of either a single production database or even when you separate it out into its own replica read, right? You can always break down a big data problem into three factors. We call them the three V's.
Yep.
So you have volume,
Yep.
you have velocity, and you have variety of data.
Yep.
And as your organization grows, as your product grows, or as your platform grows, these three start growing as well.
Yep.
And data starts becoming unmanageable.
Yep.
Where now running those same queries to get those same metrics is taking unbearably long.
Yeah.
And your operations team really can't do anything about it anymore.
Yes. And I run up a select count star, and then I go brew my coffee, and it's still running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The reaction to this for a lot of people is to shift infrastructure. We've already separated concern by making our own read replica for analytics. Maybe we should use a database that is specifically made for analytics.
Sure.
Again, there's a lot of talk about this in the industry. I think a lot of us have heard about ClickHouse recently.
Yes.
And Google has been drumming up marketing hype about BigQuery for a long time.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the marketing isn't wrong.
Yeah.
Shifting to something like ClickHouse or MongoDB if you're looking for something more log or document based, or BigQuery is going to have its benefits.
Yeah.
These databases are fine-tuned for analytical workloads.
Only if you know what are the patterns that you want to access your data on, what are the analytics that you would want, right? Now, there is this old joke, right? That you beat the data so much that it starts answering by itself. People take it seriously and literally and then try to fire everything and anything on their whole data warehousing solution. In fact, there is no concept of a data warehousing. Their read replica, which they consider as a source of truth, and trying to answer everything and anything under the hood becomes a problem. And then they say that maybe changing the database will solve the problem. But what are the common problems that we have identified here?
So
one is the pattern that we discussed, right?
You can break this into two things, right? First thing is that people don't understand their requirements before they start setting up their analytical systems.
Yep.
You have to understand what you need before you figure out what you can do, right? And the second thing is, even if you're shifting to a database that is fine-tuned for analytics, a lot of us bring over our transactional habits to this analytical workspace.
Oh yes, I have been taught 1NF, 2NF, 3NF in my school.
Exactly.
and that's what I do for my interview preparations as well.
That's a really great place to start, right?
Yeah.
With over-normalization,
yeah,
which becomes a problem in analytical tables.
Over-normalization.
Yeah, it feels very weird when you hear the word over-normalization because normalization is the norm, pun intended.
True.
But what ends up happening is for analytical workloads, let's say you have data spread out across 10 tables now. to get one single metric, you have to do a join across those 10 tables.
Yeah.
You're essentially falling down the pitfall of a join hell.
Yeah. And writing a big fat SQL. At least I can save my job as an analyst, right? Yeah.
The answer more often than not is actually to denormalize your data. It's all right to add that redundancy because at the end of the day, unlike your transactional systems, which might be serving customers directly, you're not really looking to be ACID compliant. It's okay if you're not.
Yes, because the idea is that even if your storage footprint increases, that's fine. Duplicacy of data is okay for a while, as long as you're saving on the computation of going through those joins or complex aggregations that needs to be provided, right?
So an easy way to build a mental model for this, because at the end of the day, a lot of these bringing practices over is a mental model problem.
Yeah.
We have a mental model of what database schema design is supposed to look like,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult to break out of it.
Yeah.
Because you end up doing a lot of things that feel wrong.
Yeah.
With normalization, for example,
yes,
wherever we talk about denormalizing data, the instinctive immediate response for a lot of people is, but this is adding redundancies.
Yes.
There might be consistency issues where data in for the same field in one table is different from the value in another.
Yeah.
And this is where we start talking about things like eventual consistency.
Right.
Because in analytics, you're never really working on what the system looks like immediately at this point of time. You're always working on snapshots in time.
Yeah. 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 The other problem, right, that I have observed that most of these analytical queries are time-based queries. And when you do these time-based queries, how you actually create indexes for a warehousing solution, people just miss out on the partitioning. Like they are saying that, hey, load everything and anything in that one particular query, and then they say that it is actually not performant.
So you can do too much and too little of both when it comes to data, right? For example, with partitioning. Sure, if you don't partition enough, you're going to be doing a full table scan with billions of rows just to get one report.
Yes.
But if you partition too much, for example, let's say you want to get monthly reports, but you're partitioning your data weekly.
Yeah.
Now, every time you generate that report, it's hitting at least 4 partitions.
Yeah, you're getting all the month's data, right? Which is overkill. You don't even need this, right?
Similar things happen with indexes.
Yeah.
Where you can over-index your table.
Yeah.
Again, with indices, it's a very instinctive reaction. I have an ID. This should be indexed. But when are you actually ever pulling analytics
is
over
it part
ID?
Is it even a part of your query?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're just increasing the size of your index table for absolutely no reason.
Right. Yeah. Something similar for your warehousing solution. That how do you even partition your data? That needs to be considered. The one more aspect that I have realized, because analytics are very pointed and very focused at what your business actually needs. And one good way that I have figured out and I found that you should have very aggregated views so that it can be ready to consume. Otherwise, if you're computing on the fly, your customers or your internal stakeholders or your business stakeholders, they will be always waiting.
Exactly.
Right. So it's better that any table you use or database you use under the hood, it needs to have pre-aggregated views so that can be catered directly.
You don't really need to compute everything every time.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to.
And that's come to the point that please identify what are your patterns, what are the analytics, what are the queries that you would want. And that requires some research of your own.
When we talk about computing everything every time, I think another thing that we often hit upon is how fresh your data needs to be. So a lot of us will have some sort of a sync set up between our transactional database and our analytics database.
Yep.
This is your ETL pipeline that's going on.
Can I say the word change data capture?
So change data capture is a very interesting point to hit upon.
Yep.
Because it is used very often, but incorrectly.
Tell me more.
Okay. So with a CDC mirror, what you're doing is anytime any change happens in your transactional database, it is mirrored to your analytical data warehousing solution in real time. You don't really need this if you're only making monthly reports. Because whenever you're syncing your data, that is a computational overload. It is an effort overload. These pipelines need to be maintained. Now you're not just spending money, but also very precious man hours that could be used for something else as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you say that what is real time to you? Real time is your business able to take an action within that stipulated time.
So-
for example, fraud detection system,
Yeah,
right? There have to be near real-time system. So that actually makes sense. But you are saying that, hey, I have a change data capture which you are not utilizing. Yeah, that's an overkill.
So there are two parameters that we can look at when we want to figure out how fresh our data should be.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's very easy to say that, hey, don't use CDC with us for everything.
Hmm.
But there are some cases where it should be. How
Yeah.
do you figure out what those cases are?
Right.
The two parameters you can look at is A,
Hmm.
how often your data is changing,
Right.
and B, how fast can you act on it?
Makes sense. Yes.
Because data just sitting in a warehouse is worth nothing. What the actual value of this comes from the inferences that we can make from it and the actions that we can take on the basis of these inferences. Knowledge is power, but only when it is used.
Yeah. You can. I have a pun. I have a joke. Bolu. Data where hoard. You hoard everything. I mean, that's the whole purpose, that you
Yeah.
have your source of truth. But until unless what you really want to do with it, that needs to be identified. So to just summarize, right? I think what we discussed are the four kind of problems. First is that changing your database will not solve your problems. You need to identify your patterns, right? Do up a mindset shift from transactional systems to analytical systems, right? To identify your OLAP cubes, what is required, and what is the analytics your business need, right? Anything and everything under the hood will always be expensive. You're going to be spending a lot of money. Now, be it a cloud solution, be it a managed solution, because we see that a lot of the bills are on the higher side. Why? Because these queries are not optimized, or the patterns are actually not identified, right? And that the whole staleness point that you said, that hey, what is the change data capture that you want to consider? How soon you will be able to react as a business to your systems, right? So yeah.
I think one small closing statement I want to put out there for everybody who's watching is you're going to get a lot more by using the right practices with the wrong database rather than using the right database with the wrong practices.
Right. Good one. Yep, that's it. Thank you, Kshitish.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. So yeah, that's it for this time. We will be having a blog and a case study
Yes.
from this. Until next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.